Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we will be talking about High School Musical 2. Now, I know that I said I was a big fan of High School Musical, and I still am a big fan, a High School Musical fan, that's right. And I will be a High School Musical fan my entire life because I love this movie. I love all of the High School Musical franchises, and I actually do love the show also. So let's jump right into this. So, High School Musical starts off with them being in class and Miss Darvis talking about summer and let it rejuvenate and fresh your young minds. And then everybody's looking at the clock saying summer, summer, summer. And then the bell rings, then school's out, and then everybody celebrates because it is summertime and it is finally here. Oh, that is one of the songs in the beginning. It's called Summertime. And then when it is time for them to go, everybody's talking about what they're gonna do this summer. And Gabriella's just chilling at her locker, just smiling at a picture of her and Troy that she has just hanging in her locker. And I actually do enjoy this moment because, Troy catches up with her and says, well, your summer activity in Sultan has arrived. And she says, hopefully one of those activities will include finding a job. And then he says, as long as we're in it together, it's cool, right? And then she says, I guess, but you promise. And then he pulls out the necklace, the T for Troy necklace, you guys. The one that was on the dolls when the dolls first came out. That is a one of a kind necklace. And I really do like that moment because it shows how much Troy cares for Gabriella. So it's a really sweet moment. And then when he leans in to kiss her, somebody interrupts him to give his autograph. And then Chad says, hoops, let's go. And then Troy said, sure, not busy or anything. So they all go watch the boys shoot some hoops. And then they walk by Sharpay, and then and 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 then Sharpay can hear Troy saying, I got the whole summer planned out for us. Going to movies, listening to music, and Gabriella says, oh, and I have first aid training, so I can catch up afterwards. And then Troy says, all right. And then this is and then this is when Sharpay mocks her, like going to Neely, listening to music, and golly, Troy, I have first aid training. Oh please. And then they hire Kelsey to play at their country club because their rehearsal pianist is evidently moving, and Kelsey says, or hiding. And and then and and then Sharpay catches her, but Kelsey's quick and 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 Kelsey says, "Sounds great." So I think she accepts the job. And anyway, everybody's like saying how much they need a job, how much they need a job. But don't worry, it's coming in soon, you guys. Don't worry, it's coming in soon. You're all gonna be working soon. You're not gonna like where you work, but you're all gonna be working. So, remember when I said that everyone looked for a summer job? Yeah, well, while everybody was at Troy's house talking to the coach after their practice, Troy actually got a phone call from you know who, the country club, which is owned by Sharpay's family. So basically, Sharpay is the one hiring Troy because she wants to spend time with Troy. But Troy doesn't know this, so he signs everyone up for this. And then when they go for their first day, let's just say the boss is just not their biggest fan. Because when they meet Mr. Fulton, the guy who worked for Sharpay's family, he gives them a very strict schedule on what they have to follow. And let me just tell you, this dude is scary, you guys. Especially when Sharpay came on her lunch break and he says, well, especially when especially when Gabriella came on her lunch break, and he says, Miss Montez, your lunch break doesn't start for 5 or 10 or 15 minutes. I do hope no members drowned on your absence. Three interferences of any kind in your employment is terminated. Capiche? And then they all nod their heads and they say they understand. And then Chad actually says, dude, what did you get us into? And then he says, come on, we can totally turn this thing around. Because Troy tells them, we gotta hoop out back 3 square meals a day, and we only have to eat this stupid and we only have to wear these stupid outfits on duty. All for one for all. Alright, this is our summer. And then they play the song Work It Out. Then after the song, he convinces Chad to give it a chance, and he says, yeah, I guess we could work this out. Well, actually, he says, yeah, we can work it out. And then everybody says, yes. And then before they get caught, like Troy writes on the paper, let's go. And so they are pretending that they were working because Chad gets a plate to serve. Well, not a plate, a big round plaque to serve stuff on. And it's like a really, 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 really funny moment. But I had to hand it to him. Way to cover your tracks, Troy. With that note, let's go. Way to cover your tracks. Because they were jamming up in there with work this out. Looks like the soundtrack for the second one is way better than the first one. But the first one's but the first soundtrack for the first High School Musical isn't that bad. I just enjoyed the second one too, and the third one also. So, so after they get off duty, Troy punches himself in. Well, not himself. He punches numbers in, and then he puts it back into the slot. And then Gabriella says, "We're employees, Troy, not numbers." But before this, Troy asks Gabriella if he misses her and if she can meet him on the golf course. And Gabriella says, "We're employee, Troy, not numbers, and I don't play golf." And then Troy says, "Who said anything about golf?" And then they do have this beautiful, cute little picnic moment where they're talking about their future, and Troy says that he always liked the idea of being in charge of his future until it actually started happening. And this is when Gabrielle says, "Well, let's just think about right now, because I've never been anywhere for an entire summer, and this means this means a lot to me, especially being here with." and and then Troy says, and 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 uh, uh, and then Troy says, "Like an outstanding peanut butter jelly maker like me." um, I forgot to tell you. Did I tell you guys? I forgot to tell you. In the song "Fabulous," when the song was over, um, Sharpay kind of fell into the water, but Gabriella got hurt. And this is how they found out that Sharpay's parents owned the place, because Sharpay said, "What are you doing here?" And then that's when Troy and everybody else figured out that they owned the place, and that Troy was only picked because of Sharpay. But the rest of them got hired by the board, which are her mother and father. So the rest of them got hired from her parents behind her back. So this is why she doesn't like them being here. She just wanted Troy there so she could actually make Troy her boyfriend. But as they are enjoying their beautiful picnic moment, they actually do play a game um where they try to catch grapes into their mouths, and then Troy catches it, but Gabriella always gets but Gabriella, let's say Troy just missed her mouth on purpose. And so while they're playing on the golf course, Sharpay is watching them with binoculars and tells Ryan, says, "Keep an eye on them tomorrow and keep me posted." And before this, and before this, and and, and before this, Sharpay actually had the sprinklers turned on them, but they end up loving it. They end up dancing into it, and it just ends up being a really sweet moment. Until Mr. Fulton catches them out there and says, "I overlooked Wait, 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 wait. he doesn't say that yet. He says, he says, he's, wait, wait, wait. I think he does. He, 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 he says, I, he says, I overlooked your break time and I, 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 he, uh, he said, I overlooked your break time situation. That one time you guys took a break. But dancing on the golf course, we are not on to a good start, are we, Miss Montez? And then Troy tried to take up for her, but Mr. Folsom is not having any of that. So he says, we won't allow this to happen again, now will we? And then they both shake their heads yes. And then that is the end of that. Well, the next day, Kelsey writes this amazing bop for the movie called You Are the Music in Me. And all the and all the friends come into the room and hear it. And 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 um and and after it's over, Troy signed up for the talent show, and then everybody and then to participate in the talent show, because Troy said maybe we could work this out, but only if we're all in this together. So while they are celebrating, meanwhile Ryan overheard the conversation and said, "Coat and throat, this is Jack. This is Jack Ryer. We may have trouble." And then, you know who he's talking to? Sharpay. Which, which, which Sharpay is getting a facial done. And Ryan goes to tell her that Kelsey wrote an amazing song, but she didn't write it for us. And then this is when Sharpay says, well, Ryan, it may be great that Troy participates in the talent show. And this is when Ryan says, what if he sings with Gabriella? That will mean our whole show is going to be the Troy and Gabriella show. And then this is when Sharpay gets the idea, I'm not sure that Gabriella can show Troy the future that he could hear, that he can have at, and this is when and 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 and, and this is and and this is when Sharpay tells Ryan, I'm not sure that Gabriella can show him the future that he can have here at Lava Springs. And then she gets the idea to invite Troy and Chad over for golf so Troy can meet his parents. So Troy can meet her parents. So, so Fulton catches them and says, Bolton, um, Bolton Danforth, you guys are cuddling. You guys are cuddling today. You've been requested $40 a bag. And then Troy tries to figure out, and he asks by who. And then Chad says, dude, who cares? For $40, I would cuddle for Godzilla. And then Fulton says, close, very close. And then they walk out, and Chad and Troy walk onto the golf course to see Sharpay and her brother Ryan and hit and actually Sharpay's mother. And then Troy meets her, and then Chad meets them, and 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 actually Chad meets them also. And this is when Troy says, well, where's your dad? And then Sharpay says, right there. And then he goes, and then he looks up at the sky, and there's this big plane that's coming in. And then her dad gets off the plane, and he says, we're the first team, and what's the course record? And then he laughs and says, ha 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 ha. I, I, I'm kidding. I built the course myself, and I also hold the record, but who's counting? And then he greets everyone, and then he meets Troy and says, what do you play? And then Sharpay, being the little, like, fast one that she is, that says, Troy plays for the golf team too, Daddy. Like, dude, he can speak for himself. And then he asks Chad, and Chad says, baseball, track and field. And then Mrs. Evans says, it might come in handy the way I play golf. And then everyone backs up so she can make a putt. And she says, foot, and then the ball goes flying over the golf course. And then they play golf for a while. And then I have to give a shout out to my boy Ryan, because they did him so bad in this movie. His sister did him so bad. It's like when they were done playing golf in another era, everybody just went off and left Ryan by himself, and Chad was following Troy. So I was like, oh, my poor Ryan. But things do get better for him. Things do get better for him in the movie. So after playing golf, they invite Troy out to dinner. You know, Sharpay's family invite and 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 um and um and actually invites Troy out for dinner. And Troy is obviously seeing. Troy is obviously very uncomfortable. Like, he's not uncomfortable, but but he does feel weird, and that's the one thing I did like. Like, in the beginning, he he said he 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 told them that he was good at basketball, but he actually told them that that Ch- that Chad, his teammates, actually helped him win the game, and I really did like that. I really did like that because Troy knows who he is. I really did like that. So I really did like that. He said, actually, my teammates here helped me get the ball, or else I wouldn't have had a chance to. And then just got, and then just and 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 then just Sharpay just interrupts him and says, "Oh, Troy, don't be so modest. In golf and basketball is the first thing with Troy Daddy. Have you heard him sing?" And then he tries to, and then Sharpay tries to get him to give them a sample. But he says that his throat is hurting from all the talking. And so and so he doesn't give and so he doesn't give Sharpay a sample of a song. But he does promise to sing with her some other time. And he does make a promise to her, which I wish that he wouldn't have done. But, the family was right there. He couldn't embarrass her like that. So, oh, did I tell you that he actually was late for a date with Gabriella? Because Sharpay had this wonderful thing for the talent show that they could do together. A new song that she says Huma that Sharpay calls Huma Huma. And so she actually does perform the song for Troy, but Troy doesn't really like the song, but he's being as nice as he possibly can. Because they did this whole rap thing, and I like rap, it's just the way they were spinning him around in the chair, and the lights were going off, and then she was doing fish talk. Just the song. I did not like the song at all. But I did actually like her outfit. I have to give her props. Like, I did actually enjoy her and Ryan's outfit. The Tiki Warrior outfit. And Sharpay's dress and crown were really pretty, though. I just not I just didn't like the song. But it was a nice performance. So after that performance, he is running late with a date with Gabriella, and it is getting so late, but he just runs into his hay lifeguard, and then he jumps in the pool, and then she says, "You're crazy, Wildcat," and then he says, "Oh, I am so late, but I brought food, a few candles. I'm good for a poolside picnic. What do you say?" And Zeke even made dessert. But first, I dare you to jump in. And then Gabriella tells him, "Well, we're not supposed to be in the pool. Club rules." And then Troy fakes a cramp. And then he says, "Help! I got a cramp. I need a lifeguard. Help! Rescue me! Rescue me!" And then Gabriella jumps in after him. And they go swimming. And it's a really beautiful moment. And he says, right here with you, it finally starts to. It is. It is finally starting to feel like summer. And then Gabriella says, "Yeah, it is." And then before they kiss for the second time, because they tried to kiss at the field, but the sprinklers came on. But before they kiss for the second time, before they kiss for the second time, Mr. Fulton walks right up and says, "The water bugged their backs." And 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 and, and, bec- and before they kiss for the second time, Mr. Fulton walks right up to them and says, "Oh, the water bugged their back." And then Troy tries to cover up for her again by saying, "Look, Mr. Fulton, this was my idea. She had nothing to do with it." And then Mr. Fulton says, "I overlooked your break situation, but then came the golf course joke. And now this, 2 strikes. Don't get a third out of the pool." And so with that, Gabriella gets out of the pool and he gets out of the pool. And so when he goes home, he is helping his dad fix up the car, and he is telling his dad that, "Well, today I went golfing with the Evans family, and they invited me to dinner, and the dad says, 'You're invited, it's called a job, there's nothing wrong with that. But you're not gonna be Wildcat forever.'" So he gives his son some advice, and he says, "Look, team is now, and that's good, but you do not want to take your eyes off the prize." And then Troy tells, Troy tells his dad, "Yeah, Dad, I get that, but I didn't get my friend's job at the club so they can sit and watch me eat in the dining room." And then his dad says, "A scholarship's special, and not many of them go around." And then Troy says, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. I get it, Dad." So I think the scholarship really perked him up. And 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 as I go forward into this video, I am going to tell you why Troy was acting the way he is, and I am going to defend him in this movie because he only did it because of the scholarship. Because they said they would offer you a full scholarship. When they joined Troy for dinner, when the Evans family invited him for dinner, they were talking about the scholarship. And they were saying that they pulled some weight over at the school and that they could get Troy a free scholarship to go to the school. So keep that in mind as I go through the rest of this video because the rest of it, it's not going to be pretty because Troy's character really does change. But anyway, let me show you what I mean. So the next day, he goes in and he tries to explain to Mr. Fulton that the pool thing was all his idea and that he can't blame Gabriella. And this is the part that had me so confused. Mr. Fulton said that he was promoting him to assistant golf pro. What the heck? Like, I know why he is promoting him, but what the heck, man? You didn't promote anybody else. In half of those times when Gabriella got in trouble, it was because of Troy and her was trying to sneak off and have a little alone time, like dates and stuff. Like, you didn't promote anybody else. Just saying, man. Just saying. So he gives him the job as an assistant golf pro, and it's $500 a week, no clocking in, plus you get tips to add to your paycheck. So he says, great, I'll take it. It sounds very manageable. And then his friends look at him and be like, what just happened? And then Troy just looked at them and says, I don't know, man. So while they're in Mr. Fulton's office, he says, I want you, and then while they are in Mr. Fulton's office, he is telling him how to teach golf to kids. And Troy's a little nervous about this because he's not qualified. But Mr. Fulton says, worry not. Just simply show them how to hold the club, tee the ball up, then duck. And then he gets new equipment, a golf cart, golf supplies, golf stuff, like golf shoes, like he gets the whole 9 yards while his friends are sitting over here serving him. But it's all in good fun. It's all in good fun. It's all in good fun because he's just doing this for the scholarship. Remember this. The scholarship is why he is doing this. So while he is teaching, Taylor is keeping a close eye on Sharpay because Troy is showing her how to hit a golf ball with his new Italian golf shoes, and Troy and Sharpay end up doing a little flirting, what do you call it? Because Sharpay says, you look fabulous in your new clothes, by the way. And Troy says, thanks, you like the shoes, they're Italian. And then this is when Taylor looks over at him and then he coughs a little bit, and he does. Well, golfing is really easy. You just hold the club like this, and a nice and easy backswing, and he guides her hands, um, to help her to show her how to golf. And then and then Taylor and then Taylor tells Gabriella, and 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 this is when Gabriella says, "Wake up! She is just offering Troy a position in the talent show, and if we and 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 a free scholarship just so he could perform with her in the talent show." And then Chad says Troy will never do that, and he knows how to swim. And Taylor tells them about the Italian shoes um opinion that she overheard Troy asking, that she overheard Troy, mm, mm, that she overheard Troy asking Sharpay. And then Gabriella gets up, gets 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 upset and says, "He didn't ask me." And then Taylor says, "You gotta argue them. She's just doing this so that he could sing with her in the talent show." And then Chad says Troy would never do that. And then they all just decide to go eat and take their lunch break. And then Troy meets these guys from USA, the basketball team that he's been always wanting to try out for ever since he was a little boy. And so they offer to give him like rooms of practice at their gym with them. And with this, it is a new jacket. And Gabriella catches him and says, "Well, look at you, go team." And then Troy says, "Yeah, it's a gift from the guys." And then Gabriella says, "The guys? Oh, you mean all those tall people?" And then Troy says, "Yeah, but listen, I gotta go in a minute. But I'll pick you up in my new truck and we'll go to a movie, I promise." And then Gabriella tells him that they had the staff baseball game after work. And then Troy forgot it, and he left my girl hanging at lunchtime. And he left my girl hanging at lunchtime, but it's fine. It's fine. It's for the scholarship, right? No, guys, seriously, I'm not mad. He's only doing this for the scholarship. So, anyway, after he blows all his friends off, Zeke actually makes a pretty cool remark, but I'm like, "Zeke, dude, seriously? That So Zeke actually makes a pretty cool remark, and he says, why don't you tell UFA to come over here and mix it up? We'll show them some game." And then Troy tries to act all cool and says, "Well, I don't think that's how they roll." And then Chad says, "That's not how they roll." And then he says, "Well, I just think it's a close practice. Sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that." And then Chad says, "Well, maybe you could get it on video." So, with that in mind, when Zeke said, "But you promised that you'll play one-on-one with us before the the baseball game," and well, you promised, and he says, "I know, man, I'm sorry." So he goes off and he goes play with his friends, and then Chad asks for his ball back. So he throws them the ball back, and they're mad, but they go off and they play the and they actually play the baseball game, and they actually invite Ryan, so Ryan becomes a Wildcat. And I just really think that's so cool. Like, they invited Ryan to play baseball with them, and he actually does become part of the friends group. And I just think that's so cool because Ryan has a pretty cool heart, and he's definitely a Wildcat through and through because he never forgot who he was, especially when his sister was being all mean to him because she just wanted Troy all to herself. So she just forgot about everything Ryan has done for her. And I just really think it's cool. although, although Troy does try to call Gabriella, but she's busy talking to her friends and congratulating Ryan and Chad about winning the baseball game. And the next day, Troy tries to talk to Gabriella and says, I I called last night. I got held up at the gym, and and I forgot to tell you, they were dancing together, her and Ryan, and Ryan had Gabriella in his arms because he was spinning her around, and then Troy saw this, and then when he said, "I tried to call last night, I got held up at the gym, I I I got held up at the gym." And then Gabriella says, "Well, you missed out on a pretty fun night. He was very good." And then Ryan tries to lighten him, tries to lighten up the mood by saying, "But the dessert afterwards was definitely the best part, because her mom makes the best brownies in the entire world." And then Troy says, "Yeah, I know, I had." And then Ryan says, "Well, I'll see you guys later." And then after this, Chad and Troy got into a really big fight because Troy is acting like, "Oh, oh, I have a better job now. I wasn't up for, I wasn't up, I wasn't up for this job. It was given to me, and I said yes." And then Chad says, "You get a speck of dirt on your pants and somebody dry cleans you." And then Troy says, "You would do the same thing." And then Chad says, if I was as good as you, And then Troy said, I did not say that. And then Chad said, you didn't have to. And then Chad says, if I don't know who you are anymore, then who does? And then Mr. Fulton comes in and says, you're all being paid to work, not play Dr. Phil. Chomp, chomp. Then after this, here's what Sharpay did. I forgot to tell you guys this. The song "You Are the Music in Me" that you guys that that all of us saw when we watched High School Musical 2 the movie. When we watched High School Musical 2 the movie and, and Troy and Gabriella sung "You Are the Music in Me." Well, Sharpay took that song. She told Kelsey to bring out the tempo, so she brought out the tempo to the song. And so the next day they are rehearsing this hip hop. No, not hip hop version. This upbeat and fast version of this song. And just let me tell you, Kelsey cannot keep up. Um, they are dancing all over the place. And Troy doesn't even know how to sing the song now. And it's just so funny. Because when they take rehearsal, he actually sees Sharpay in a wedding dress because Sharpay actually says, I think we were meant to sing together, don't you? And then Troy sees her in a wedding dress, and this is when Troy says, well, I need some air. So he goes outside and he plays a little basketball for a while when he hears music. And it turned out that all his friends are having fun with are ha- are actually having fun without him. And that Ryan kissed well, not actually kissed. He kissed Gabriella on the hand and he saw it, so he's feeling a bit down. But Sharpay comes and he sees Troy. But Sharpay comes into the room and she sees this. But Troy is feeling down because he has no more friends because everybody's mad at him because he's got this new opportunity. But anyway, we're gonna get back to Sharpay. Sharpay sees all of them having fun and 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 she doesn't like this because Ryan is supposed to be your twin brother. Ryan is supposed to have her back. And then Ryan says, pretty cool, huh? And then this is when Sharpay says, when did you become one of them? And then Ryan says, I'll take that as a compliment. Oh, and to top it all off, Sharpay says, do you want us to lose the Star Dazzle Award to a bunch of dishwashers? And then Ryan says, us? And then this is when Sharpay realizes that Ryan is not on her side anymore, and every reason he should, in every reason he should have said that. Us, I like the way he said us, because every time every time the Star Dazzle Award doesn't go to Ryan, it goes to Sharpay. They always look up to Sharpay. They always listen up to Sharpay. So he is just feeling glad to be included, and I just applause, man. Applause. Because that line, us, that really got me. And then this is what Sharpay says. Like, and this is what Sharpay said. When did you become one of them? And then Ryan says, well, I'll take that as a compliment, but you and Try have a good show, sis. And then, and then, and then, before Ryan walks away, Sharpay says, oh, we plan to. And then she goes walking into Mr. Fulton's office and she says, I need every employee that works here who is working the party. Wait. Uh, and wait. I need every employee that is that work here. It make sure that they are working the party and not on stage. My parents have important guests coming, and those riot cats will turn it into a farce. And then Mr. Fulton says, employ, 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 employment auditions and performances are a tradition here. And this is when Sharpay says, traditions change. And I need every employee working the party and not on stage. And then Mr. Fulton tells her, well, will do. But we are not just talking about employees here. We're talking about your classmates. You may want to think this one out. And then Sharpay says, all right, done. Now do it. And so Mr. Fulton takes a deep breath. So Mr. Fulton takes a deep breath, and then I don't know if this is the next day, but the next day he gives the papers to Taylor, and then she says, what, Mr. Fulton? And then he says, no discussion, Miss McKessie. Welcome to the world of adults who wish to keep their jobs, that have mortgages they wish to pay, etc., tuition bills, etc. So they may have to so they may have to perform tasks um so they may have to perform tasks that are so unpleasant for that for that paycheck to land to to land to land in wait, well, he didn't say it like that, but you could see that Mr. Fulton did not want to do this and that he was very stressed. So Taylor ends up making the announcement, and Gabriella is not having this. So she goes straight to Sharpay and says, "Forget about the rest of us. What about your brother?" And then Sharpay says, "Boo hoo. My brother will be in the show. He will do his celebrity in, impersonations, and don't lecture me about mine, given the fact that you interfered with Troy's future." And Sharpay tells her that she's gotten Troy written up for sneaking on the golf course, swimming after hours, and Sharpay also says that she had to step in to save Troy's job. But Sharpay, you weren't there, so it's literally not Troy's fault that he wanted to spend some time with his girlfriend. But Sharpay's not having any of this. She said that she is not interested in what Sharpay thinks she is doing for Troy. And 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 Gab and 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 this is when Gabriella tells her that you are messing with my friends, my summer, and that's not okay with me. And then Sharpay says, "You just don't like the fact that I'm one." And then, this is when Gabriella says, "What's the price? Troy the Star Dazzle Award? You had to go through all this just to get either one? No thanks, Sharpay. You're very good at the game, but I don't want to play. But you better step away from the mirror long enough to check the damage that would that will be always right behind you." And Sharpay just got mad and left. And her girls were following right behind her. So, with that in mind, she told Sharpay that she was done here. So she's quitting, and Troy overhears this, and he walks up to her, and he says, "What do you mean you're done here? You can't quit." And he says, "What?" And then Gabriella says, "Working together sounded good, but plans change and people change." This this club talent show is obviously a big deal for Sharpay and obviously for your future. So it's cool. Just make it happen. Wear your new Italian shoes. And then he tries to say, "I'm still me." And then and and then he's and 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 then and then Gabriella tells and then and then and then Gabriella tells him, "Blowing off your and 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 then Gabriella tells him, "Blowing off your friends, missing dates, is that you? That's good to know." And then Troy says, "I'm only uh 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 I only did this because of the scholarship thing, you know that." But Gabriella also tells him, "But along the way you act like someone you're not, pretty soon that's who you become." And then he tells her, "I meant everything I said, movie then summary and being together." And then she sings the iconic line, like right after she says, like a few more things, she said, a few more things like I'm sure you did at the time, but I also meant when I said that I wanted to remember this summer, but not like this, Troy. So, with this, she sings the iconic song Walk Away. And I get Gabriella's point that Troy is changing, but he's only doing this. I mean, yeah, 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 I could see Gabriella's point, but he was only doing this because of the of, of he was only doing this because of the scholarship. But I don't know. I'm I am on Troy's side, but yet I am on Gabriella's side. So I'm gonna need you guys to do me a favor. Leave a comment down below. If either of you guys seen High School Musical 2, do you think Troy did it for the scholarship, or do you just think he um he he just wanted to show off to his new basketball friends? And do you think he got too comfortable with his new lifestyle, with his new clothes, with his new shoes? Leave it leave it in the comments. What do you think? What do you think? Do you think he did it for the scholarship, or do you think he just got too or 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 do you think he got too comfortable in his brand new shoes and his new Italian shoes and his new clothes and his new stuff to actually care about his friends? So anyway, with this, his dad talks to him, and with this, he's and 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 with and and with and with the talk from his dad, um, he goes in the next morning and he tries to eat breakfast, but all his friends leave the table after hanging out with Chelsea, and he actually sees the letter that only the people only the people who are eligible, who are members of the club society, not the employees, can participate in the talent show. And so when he sees this, he gets mad and does his song Bet on It, the ultimate icon girl song. And so, after Bet on It, he quits his new job. He asks for his new kitchen job back, and the brothered again, because he makes up with Chad, and he performs with Sharpay, but only if he could, but but only but only if the Wildcats can perform in the show. So the show is back on, and the Wildcats get to perform, and everything's good again. But Kelsey wants him to learn a new song in one day, and he go and and he goes he goes to Sharpay and says, "Why do you switch songs?" And then Sharpay says, "Switch songs, what?" And then he says, "Yeah, Ryan said." And then he tells Troy to get on stage, and then Sharpay says, well, I didn't learn a new song. And then Ryan says, exactly. So he learns a new song, and guess who sings the second verse and comes out of the crowd wearing a beautiful white dress with a blue ribbon around it. Gabriella Montez is back, everyone. And then, when the song is over, guess who won the Star Dazzle Award? Sharpay gives it to her brother Ryan. It's a really sweet brother and sister moment. Oh, and at the end, they watch floating lanterns fly by. And they make a cheer to the future. And they make a cheer to the future with the floating lanterns. And then Troy says, "No, still right now." And then they kiss. And then the sprinkler comes on. And then they kiss again. And then we got the iconic song "All for One," where we see the cameo of Miley Cyrus. And then, after the song ends, they all jump in the pool and says, yeah! And that is the end of High School Musical 2. Bye. See you guys in my next video.